Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So today we will be watching a video by FTD Speaks titled "A Big Question I Have for Every Muslim." Right, so this is posted like 8 days ago. I'm interested to see what is the big question that he have for every Muslim, which basically includes myself. Hence, I would like to know the question, and if it's a valid question or interesting question, perhaps we can answer the question, right? So without further ado, let's watch.
Hey guys, welcome back. So I have a pretty important question that I've been wondering for years actually, and I was thinking, how can I ask it without somebody getting offended, but I don't think that's actually possible. It's a question that can make you feel uncomfortable if you're a Muslim, but I think it's a fair question because I really want to understand and have an answer because I don't get it. And the question is, when it comes to images of Prophet Muhammad, how come in many cases there's such a negative response from Muslims about the images? And I mean, it's sometimes I notice it's to the point where people will wish that somebody's life will end because they made pictures or drew pictures of Prophet Muhammad and released it in a publication. That I don't understand fully. Now, I'll tell you what I do understand. So I do understand the devotion that Muslims show to Prophet Muhammad, that he was a great man, the greatest man that ever lived, according to Muslim. And him being a prophet of God, that right there shows that he was of an elevated status, somebody who got direct revelation from God and shared it with humanity. You know, he was somebody who built a nation. You know, he conquered territories. He was somebody that was known to be truthful and honest and hardworking and faithful and practical, somebody who was helpful in society, somebody who was bold, strong, but at the same time compassionate and very, very, very loving. So there's many different positive aspects to Prophet Muhammad, and him being a prophet, the final prophet sent to humanity. I understand the Muslim devotion to the things that he shared, the way that he lived, and how Muslims really try to emulate living life like Prophet Muhammad in their daily lives. So I fully get that, I fully understand that, and I've come to appreciate that about Muslims, their devotion to their, not just love for God, but also love for their prophet as well. What I don't fully get still though is images, for sure, you know, that's not something that Islam teaches, but not everybody on the planet is Muslim, and not everybody believes that same thing, and not everybody understands that. So when somebody who's clearly not Muslim produces an image that, of course, it's not Prophet Muhammad because nobody knows exactly what he looked like. There's no photographs or any images of him during the time he was alive. So if somebody does, it's obviously a representation. So it's not necessarily him. And sometimes people do it in respectful way, other times they do it to poke fun. So I sort of understand that. Nobody likes to be made fun of, or nobody likes to have their religion and their beliefs made fun of. But you know, at the same time, people make fun of people all the time. People make insults all the time. And I know it's not what Islam teaches. Islam doesn't teach, oh, if somebody insults a prophet or makes an image, then go out and end their life. I know that's not what Islam teaches. I'm speaking to specifically the Muslims who think that something like that would be justified, somebody's life ending because an image of Prophet Muhammad was released. Yeah,
So this is an interesting question, and the way he framed it, because he posed the question, why is the reaction is such a reaction, but at the same time he understands fully why we are devoted to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he also stated that he understands that Islam do not teach such reaction. which is interesting. So he is question is more on the behavior rather than the teaching then, right? Up to this point, that's what I can gather.
I'm finding it hard to sort of understand and grip the concept, you know, of where that would come from, that type of negative pushback would come from. I'm a person who, you know, I love my family dearly, I love my wife dearly, and there's people that yell insults and make comments all the time. Do I like it? No. Sometimes I push back, of course. Many times it just falls on deaf ears. I don't hear, I don't see it, you know. And being on social media all the time, of course, there's 99.99% good, but there's that 0.01% of bad and negative energy and negative comments that come my way. So I understand, you know, not everybody's gonna be positive, not everybody's gonna be supportive of what I do, and insults are gonna come. It's just inevitable. It's a part of life that I've come to accept. And as much as I don't like it, I could never in my brain think that somebody's life should end because of that. I just want to understand, like...
That's interesting. Actually, to be honest, to be totally honest, I have the same question as to why some Muslims have that, you know, automatic response like that. Is it the hatred that is like boiling inside that spill over, and it just so happened that you hate certain people that coincidentally the same as what Islam condemns, you know, people that do actions that Islam condemns, hence we feel justified in our hatred? Is that the issue? Sometimes I do think I do ponder about that as well, right? Why do some Muslim goes to death threats, goes to, you know, harming others? Because in Islam it's quite clear, right? In terms of even someone commits a crime, there's a process, there's a due process to deal with it, and you cannot take what's the word when you take law in your hand, right? That's not allowed in Islam. So I'm not sure where it comes from. I think it's more cultural, because it tends to happen in a certain region where, for just coincidentally, it is fused with those who have the identity as a Muslim, and it comes across as if it is justified under Islam.
Where that sort of anger comes from, like what is fueling that, what is behind a person that would do that? Because for me, in my view of things, you know, an image of somebody is far different than somebody's life being lost. And I notice it around when it comes specifically to Prophet Muhammad, but I don't necessarily notice that type of zeal and passion when it comes to images about other prophets. So it could be that, you know, Prophet Muhammad is the final prophet, so of course he's seen on another level. But, you know, there's various images that represent Jesus, Moses, Abraham. There's so many other prophets, their images are out there, but it's not necessarily that same charge when people see images of those prophets versus when it's about Prophet Muhammad. And now, yes, I do understand that there are people out there with bad intentions. They want to insult Muslims, they want to insult Islam, they want to, you know, tear it down and really provoke Muslims. For sure, I understand that is there. And knowing also that Islam doesn't condone this type of behavior towards people who insult Prophet Muhammad or insult Islam, I still want to know, like, where that actually comes from. That backlash when someone sees an image of Prophet Muhammad. This is something that's come up in discussions that I've had on several occasions, and I just don't fully understand, guys. So I really want to come on here and just share that with you and ask, you know, if you have different understandings about this? Am I seeing things differently? I don't think I am. I think I'm looking at this pretty balanced, because I'm sure everybody would agree that an image is nowhere near as valuable as a person's life. And also understanding that not everybody shares the same belief, not everybody has the same regard for prophets or Prophet Muhammad or religion. Aren't they free to express that as well? Because I'm someone who's all for freedom of speech, and I think that opinions and statements, even if you don't necessarily agree with them, should be expressed, and there's certain extent to that, but for the most part I believe various different ideas should be expressed, because then we can have conversations about them like this. So I really hope that this is what it inspires, a conversation about this topic that I still am trying to wrap my brain around. So I hope I didn't offend anybody, and just want to know your thoughts and comments down below. Thanks for hanging out with me in another episode, guys. Stay tuned for more videos where I'm going to share some of my thoughts, some of what I'm learning. I'll be posing questions like this, as well as posting other reaction videos where I react to topics that you send me on Instagram. As a matter of fact, if you aren't following me on Instagram, the best way to do so is clicking the link below.
Alright, so that's basically the question, right? A valid question, and I have responded or give my opinion on the first half, on my feeling on the same question, right? And actually, while listening towards the end, I recalled an experience shared by one of my ustads that spent years, during undergraduate level, etc., living in those region, learning about Islam, right? And he said why there's a certain region where their feelings towards Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so strong. It's because, for example, it's not just they learn the history, but it also is like their bedtime story, from very small growing up. That's the character, that's the figure that is most beloved. And he made an interesting comment, that he said that even though some of them really do not pray 5 times a day, but if anyone attacked the name or anything involving Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would really go on to you and really beat you up, right? So it does, the way he recount that memories, that he says there's something good in the sense that how they manage to bring deep connection to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but also it exposed another extreme in the sense that feeling without guidance can be also problematic, like just Muslim condemning or critiquing Christians where they love Jesus, but without guidance it's go overboard, that they lived Jesus beyond prophet. And some Muslims do the same towards Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, unfortunately, right? So I think that is one of the factors. Although I have never been myself within certain region where that's the reality, perhaps some of you can share your opinion or experience as well. Personally, I'm interested to understand as well why and where that type of reaction comes from, right? And yeah, I'm not addressing the question or answering the question, I'm actually adding to the question rather. Yeah, so if you have an answer to this, feel free to share. I'm interested to know. I will just scroll down and see what are the comments under this. Let's see, because if we start making drawing of Prophet the greatest model, some people of this generation might start worshipping him. Okay, that answers why is it wrong to draw if Muslim drawing and then some people worshipping images of Prophet Muhammad. Okay, we want to avoid that, but it doesn't justify someone want to harm others for drawing, right? to stop white idol worshipping. Okay, this explain why it is not it is avoided, images of prophets. But it doesn't address the question of why some people want to harm those who do it. Especially if it's not come from place of wanting to actually attack or something, right? Also to say that okay, Prophet Muhammad told us not to make image, so making image of him a great insult to his person. Second, we are commanded to love. Love. Okay, the pictures are not harming per se, but it's to bad intention. Alright, so this is about our deep love to Muhammad SAW. That's why we are protective of him. Still did not answer why it justify, or why some people in our love and in our intention to protect Muhammad SAW and his good name, how on earth does it justify us to wanting to hurt others or want others to die or something, right? So it is interesting. To me, it is interesting because we feel many. I'm not overgeneralizing this, because those are just comments from some Muslims, right? And I haven't scrolled all the way to see if there's any good answer. But I think that is a problem for us Muslim. I'm addressing the Muslim now, that we fail to answer the question really. What is the core of the question? We some sort of give some justification why we are hurt, why we should be loving Prophet Muhammad. But the question is not about that. He understand that. He do not understand why some people, some Muslim want to hurt others. And I don't understand that. I don't. What about you? Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.